Using that application, the software, the Applicant Tracking System. So that is a good example of the Applicant Tracking System. And I think sometimes organizations use it and customize it to meet their organizational needs. What do recruiters use ATS for? They use it for job posting and advertisement. It allows companies to post their jobs and specify the job requirements, promote vacancies in the various departments within that organization. And through it, mostly you can find the same job in different platforms, but then they give a specific link that will direct you to the ATS and even will direct you to how, or to will give you the details on how to do the application. Then you also have application management. Application management, ATS efficiently manages and organizes all of the incoming applications, the resumes, the CVs, the cover letters, which makes the hiring process a bit more organized. In this part, it also helps in ensuring that all the applications have actually been considered. One of the dangers of having applications coming through the email is that at times it can be overwhelming, so that some of them will fall through the cracks. With with an ATS system, then you're able to follow and track and organize so that all of the applications can be accounted for. Even if it is up to 3,000 or 5,000 applications, it can be able to show how many were received and by what date, and if they were complete and all that. Then we also have the other use is for CV analysis, and this is where now we are coming in, where we want to make friends with the ATS system. So the ATS analyzes, it scans the CVs and extracts the relevant information from the CVs and automatically populates your data. What I was saying, populates your data into a database. So there are those keywords that are there in the advertisement. You remember point number 1 is the job posting and the advertisement. So there are those keywords that actually there in the advertisement. What are they looking for? So it's able to pick up and analyze the data that is there in your CV and put it in a database. Part 4 is it does the candidate screening and evaluation. It helps in screening the candidates based on that predefined criteria, such as the skills, the qualifications. So when it was doing the analysis, it was picking the key information. Then now it will do the screening part, what a human eye would have actually done, just sitting down and seeing, so how many people meet the criteria that we have in place. You remember the job specifications. The job specifications usually indicate the kind of person that is required for a certain job, the kind of qualifications, the kind of the length of experience, and the skills that are possessed by the individual that is being targeted for a particular job. So the ATS is able to screen using the information that is there in your CV and now be able to recommend either for elimination or for the next step, which is now the shortlisting. Then there's collaboration and communication. ATS provides a centralized platform for recruiters, hiring managers, and team members to collaborate, share feedback, and communicate throughout the hiring process. So they are able to communicate, even sometimes changing some of the specifications so that they can be able to continue to filter or to improve the kind of applications that they get for that particular job. Then they also do the interview scheduling using the persons that have been shortlisted. It helps to streamline the interview process by allowing an automated kind of way of scheduling for the interview. It can send out the interview invitations. In some instances, you also get an automated response when you submit your application. You get an automated response. It's from that application, and sometimes it tells you do not reply. This is a do not reply email because it is automated. So at the same time, after it has done the analysis and the screening and evaluation, then it can send you an interview schedule once the recruitment team has agreed that this is the right shortlist. These are the people who actually meet the basic minimum. Then you can get an interview schedule sent to you by the ATS system. Then it has reporting and analytics, and there are various reports that can be generated using the ATS that brings insights into the hiring process, including how much time it took you to fill the application. For example, how effective was your source? What are the metrics of diversity? What are the, like now when you're talking about maybe an international job, then it can be able to show the diversity metrics. How many people are from a particular race? How many people are from a particular people group? So that you're able to now fill in those details. And sometimes the easiest is the gender. Yeah, how many females have filled in the application? How many males? How many disabled people? How many people with a certain qualification and all that? So that is some of the reports that the ATS can be able to easily give the recruiters without them having to check each and every CV. Then it also helps in compliance and legal requirements. So this one, it helps in storing and tracking the candidate information in a very secure manner. So helping with the data protection so that the data is not disseminated. Normally, when you are applying in some of those the ATS systems, they ask you to allow them to use your data, and they also give you the assurance that your data will only be used for hiring purposes, both with the immediate position or in the future. If they can actually keep your CV, they will tell you how long they can keep your CV before they discard it, just for data protection. Then we have onboarding and talent management. Some of the ATS systems can also be used as human resource management information systems, where you are able to integrate the training, the talent management, the onboarding, the orientation program for the new hires, and sometimes it's also integrated into the organization's human resource information systems. So this ensures a smooth transition, because sometimes you have already uploaded the information. So when the hiring manager, the human resource manager, is now getting you to onboard, they will not be requiring you to resubmit your documentation, or they will not have to go through a number of emails for them to retrieve your information. Once the ATS has already sorted that out, it is just transferring it to the integrated system. So those are the uses of the ATS, the Applicant Tracking System, which is automated. Now, with all those uses and advantages, I would say those are also its advantages. We would actually say that it has its disadvantages. It has its downside, yeah? And some of the downsides are poor keyword optimization. Poor keyword optimization. Sometimes, because it is a system, it's not human, it can actually pass a CV because you have not optimized some of the keywords. Your CV does not have the keywords that were there in the in the job specification or the advert that had been given. So this can be a downside of the ATS system, that it can actually miss out on a qualified person because of poor keyword optimization. Then there's also the lack of personalized consideration. Again, because it is not human, it does not have feelings. It will not. It might prioritize the quantity over the quality of the CV. Yeah, so it will simply eliminate the candidates who don't meet a specific criteria, and that has the potential of disregarding individuals who may be a good fit but do not have the predetermined parameters. Remember the keyword optimization. So if your CV is not optimized for that particular job, then it is likely that the ATS will skip your CV. Then there can also be technical issues. I mean, it's technology, and it can have technical glitches that can lead to delay in processing applications. There can be some errors in data entry, or the system can crash, which can cause an inconvenience for both the recruiters and the candidates. So you might have sent in your application, but because of the technical issues, it might not be able to go to the next step. So that's a downside of the ATS system. Then there's also limited customization. Some of them have limited flexibility to customize. That of course makes it challenging for organizations to align the specific recruitment process with the workflow or with the ATS workflow, how the ATS is working. It might have some rigidity, and so it might not be able to be customized to the specific needs for that recruiting exercise. Then it can be costly, and now this one is now on the organization side, not on the applicant side. It can be costly and complex. Might need a bit of training for people to be able to know how to use it. And therefore, looking at the disadvantages, the downsides of ATS, then we know that we have to look for a way for us to even get a head start in that job application that we are making. We have to look for a way of being able to bypass or being able to align, and so that we are shortlisted by the ATS and our CV is able to get the human eye. We are able to get that interview that will enable us now to get ahead and be able to get that job. Yeah, so let's go to an ATS friendly CV. An ATS friendly CV definitely is now one that is formatted and structured in a way that it can be easily read and interpreted by the tracking system. Yeah, you remember it uses data, it picks, it is programmed, it will not think that possibly this one, if it had been put this way, then maybe this would be a good candidate for this position. So we have to then put it in a way that the applicant tracking system is able to understand, easily read it and interpret it. Yeah. And now be able to push it to the next stage, put the data and, so that we escape the elimination criteria. We are in the inclusion criteria. So many companies and recruiters use ATS to screen resumes based on specific keywords, formatting requirements, and other criteria. But mostly it's usually the keywords that are there within the application, the advertisement. That is what they use in trying to eliminate or to filter. Those are some of the filters that are used in the resumes and the CVs that are received through the ATS. So creating an ATS friendly CV increases your chances of getting past the initial screening and being considered by the hiring managers. So how do we go about it? How do we go about it? The first thing is to use a simple and clean format. And by this, I mean you need to stick to standard fonts uh, like Arial, Times New Roman, and avoid complex designs or graphics that can confuse the system. Sometimes, when you even try and copy something, maybe if you have a symbol in your CV, when it is uploaded into the ATS system, it gets corrupted. So by just using a simple and clean format, a simple and clean font, avoiding the graphics that will actually be confused for something else, so that it's not lost in the conversion. So that is the first point. And also avoid putting, while I'm on that point, avoid putting your information in graphics. For example, a photo. I want to give you an example. Like now, this. If you put this in your, because this is like a picture that has been put there. It's a graphics. If I put it as part of my CV, the ATS, the applicant tracking system, might actually not recognize this. When I look at it with my naked eye, I can see it's JEYPENT. But because it's in graphics, when I upload it, it will be maybe a bunch of boxes or question marks within the ATS system. So just a simple font, a simple and clean format. That is what would give you the way ahead. So that means sometimes there are those CVs that have photos. It might actually miss going through the ATS. Then use appropriate section headings. So appropriate section headings, you need to clearly label the different areas of your CV, and the keywords and the phrases that are relevant to the job. For example, if they're looking for a program manager, are you having the keywords that are showing the program, you having done some project, rather project management or program? Yeah, let's talk about project management, for example. You having been able to do project management. Sometimes, because of the different ways that organizations name their different jobs, you might have actually been doing project management, but your position title might have been different. So even with the section heading, you need to have the keywords. Yeah. Now that brings me to the third point, the incorporation of the relevant keywords. Even when you have the title that you have, are you able to incorporate the relevant keywords to indicate the things that you are able to do? I'm applying for a project management job, and yet my my position might have been something like technical services coordinator. Yeah. So how am I able to? I need to have the relevant keywords within my text to be able to show that I was actually in project management, even within that position. Then avoid using tables, text boxes, and special characters. I think that one I had already mentioned when I was talking about the graphics. Avoid using these ones because they get corrupted. They will get corrupted when now have uploaded um, your work or your CV to the ATS system. So when it is in table form, then it might not be able to read it properly, and some information might be lost in the process. And so the best thing is to just stick to simple bullet points and standard formatting to keep your CV simple. Sometimes we feel like our CV needs to be beautified, but yeah, keep it simple. Then submit your CV in a compatible format. Sometimes they specifically ask you for either Word or or PDF. Um, put it in that specified format. Sometimes they tell you don't upload it in Word, because Word sometimes things start moving around. Sometimes they tell you no, don't send it in PDF. So submit the CV in that compatible format, the format that is required. Then we have the structure. Keep the structure of the CV consistent. Ensure that you have a consistent format and layout throughout your CV, and use the same style and size of headings and bullet points. Don't have some, like now when you're talking about the skills or the experience, the work experience, the different titles need to be with the same font size. It shouldn't be that maybe the current position that you're holding is a different font size, different font type, and then the next one is a different font type. So ensure that the structure is consistent. Then you need to proofread and spell check. Remember, this is not a human. It will not try to think maybe Ruth meant this. No. It will read what it has read. If it has not seen what it is looking for, it will move it to the recycling bin and move to the next CV. So ensure that you do not have typos, you do not have grammatical mistakes and misspellings within your CV. So ensure that you have a clean and error-free document, um, which is now likely to be picked by the ATS screening process. So one thing to remember when optimizing your CV for ATS, it is important and also essential to create a visually appealing and well-written resume or CV for human reviewers once it passes the initial testing. So much as we are keeping it simple, we are keeping it clean and simple and consistent, it also has to be appealing to the human eye, so that when it passes the initial ATS testing, uh, the ATS system, then it now can be able to go now to the human reviewers.